The quest for Goblin Green Paint 3, the final chapter. Hello and welcome to the Battling Barrow. My name's Kev and this will be the last Goblin Green video I do. Because a very kind viewer of the channel, Matthew Gorman, said he had some Goblin Green paint in the original pots, the original Goblin Green paint, and he very kindly put some into a small pot for me to send me some of the original Goblin Green paint so we can go back and compare it to the existing Goblin Green paint. He also gave me a tub of the Hex Goblin Green paints. I've got two of those now, and the French GW Goblin Green paint. So thank you for that, really appreciate that. This is going to be a big help so we can go back and just paint up another base using this paint, compare it to the bases we painted last time and see which is the closer. You can already, don't think see this on camera, you can already see there might be a slight difference even between original GW Goblin Green paint and their hex pot variation that came after. So, but yes, once I've done this video, I feel that is it. There's no more I can do with this series. So this really is the final chapter. It's probably not going to be a long video. It's going to be short, sharp. Paint a base up, let it dry, compare it to the others. So let's get this onto the table and let's paint up a base. So we've got our old bases painted up in the last video. Got a new base ready. Little tub of GW original Goblin Green. Shake it up. Let's apply this. It's probably take a number of coats. That to dry and give it a few more coats. So here they all are lined up. This took 3 coats, pretty much like this took 3 coats and these two here took 3 coats. These didn't, these took 2 coats, but I don't know if it's because these are not as good lids, they were gone a bit thicker. I believe these two over here took 3 coats, but these two here, the sort of France and modern, took 2 coats. I think they're slightly thicker. I don't know if that's standard or whether these are just gone a bit yucky because the pots just aren't as good as any of the others. What I might do is have a zoom in and get up close and personal. As usual, it's really quite difficult in cameras and lights to get an accurate feel for these things, but I think we can already see this looks wildly different. That's always different to me as Olive. This one to me actually is closer to these two down here. It's closer to the modern Goblin Green. So I'd say French Goblin Green, War Boss and Army Painted Goblin Green are pretty much the same hue-ish. Then we have these which are fairly olive. This here is just a product of the light really. These two were my favourite close to this one, and these two are really quite similar. So what I'm going to do is we're going to get close up and move them together. But I think if you're after a modern version of this, you're going to go for War Boss or this Goblin Green. Vallejo you're probably not going to use at all if you want to get to old school Goblin Green, but you're going to use it for a lovely lush olive green. So if you've got loads of this stuff, you're going to use this, I think, top of my head, looking at them from this angle. But if, obviously you can't get hold of this because that's quite rare in itself compared to the original. Either one of these will do you. These are great, but let's get up close and personal. So here we are, all lined up. So what we are trying to match it to really is this. This is your old school one, and that's now Goblin Green. They're both Goblin Green. This is Hexpot Goblin Green and original. And these two, look, you know, remarkably close. So I'd put that back over here as a contender. This is French Goblin Green, the litre hex pot. I don't know. Now I'm looking at it, it's slightly different, so I'm going to rule that out. So we're going to turn that over. So I'm going to do this. This is War Boss Green, and again, it's not good. If I can bring this back in, French hex pot, it's closer to that. So really, War Boss Green is great for French hex pot Goblin Green, but not oldhammer Goblin Green. And what we've got now, we have Nostalgia 88. It does a remarkably good job. So slightly more flat, I would put that face up. Next up, Coat d'Arms. Coat d'Arms is almost bang on, isn't it? Shockingly good. I'm going to bring back this hexbot one here. Just wow, all three of those. Wow. Nostalgia 88. Hey, look. You'd think they're from the same pot, so definitely. Alright, let's make sure I'm getting these back in the right order. That's hexbot. So that's Coat d'Arms. Now what we've got here, we have V for Vleho. Actually on camera it doesn't look as bad, but in person that is really off. I don't know if you can... That's really off, so I'm not going to include this, but this is a lovely green. I love this green, or perhaps other uses. And lastly, we now have Army Painter, and yeah, that's way off. But Army Painter's probably the closest to. This is French, GW French. We'll label that. So that's 6 parts. It's probably closest to that. So if you're after that, or you know, War Boss Green, you want to drop a bottle, but you like War Boss Green, that is the one you turn to, but I'm ruling this out. So now we have our original, we have Hexpot, Nostalgia 88, and Coat d'Arms, and either one of them I'm happy with there. So what I really want to do, I guess, is 88, and this is original. They are so close, so I'd say they're almost the same paint. It might be a bit more vibrancy on the actual hexpot rather than the original. Maybe just a bit darker shade. 88. Okay, let's do a quick blind test out of all these. Let's shuffle them. Try and pick which is my favourite. Difficult. Okay, I'm going to go that as my favourite. Then that, and then that. Okay, they're my favourites. What I think is original. So yeah, I think I'm hoping that these are my favourites. So I'm hoping that's going to be the original. That's going to be Hexpot and the Coat d'Arms and 88, or 88 and the Coat d'Arms. I'm actually not too worried about these because there's so little in it. It's unbelievable. But let's have a look. So what was my favourite? It was OG Goblin Green paint. Okay. Next up, Nostalgia 88. Hello. That's handy because if I want to buy this, you can still buy this obviously nowadays. Took a bit of time to get to me though. I was kind of hoping it would be Coat d'Arms, even though I have to order that online, and normally they're really quite good. The Black Hat Miniatures will get it to you next day, day after. So if you're doing a bulk order, which is what I do, you know, the 350, 450 postal things, not that bad. Whereas this, it took a while to come. I'm still might buy the other set of these because I do like them. My current paints of choice are both of these, Nostalgia 88 and Coat to Arms anyway. So, but that's just turn up for the books. I was expecting it to be our old friend, the Hexpot, which is number 3. There we go. Number 3 is poor Coat to Arms. Put you down as last. Oh, well, it doesn't mean it's bad. It just means out of these 4, which are all excellent, that was the one I preferred least. But you know, that's still a good thing. I haven't shaken the bottle up. That's why it's darker, by the way, just in case anyone hasn't come across Coat to Arms before. But there you go. So if you are after Goblin Green and you can't get hold of OG Goblin Green or Hexpot Goblin Green, and you're after a modern alternative, either one of these bad boys will do you. Interestingly, this would have originally come in a pot much like these. So yeah, I think these are trying to imitate this more than this, but hey ho. But I think we can finally say we've done the quest for Goblin Green paint, and that no stone has been left unturned. When you've got your modern GW equivalents we've looked at dropper paints which are easily accessible. I mean, ideally I'd like these two to be the winners, because these are available in a shop I can just walk to, but I don't mind because these pots just fill me full of nostalgia. And if you plan ahead, you can order online like what I do. My whole collection now is pretty much a combination of these two. It's what I've just used to exclusively paint with. And of course I do like GW contrast paints, but you've got to put them in an old school bowl. Anyway, that is it for this video, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've had fun doing these videos. It's been fascinating to look at just how much variation there can be in a paint called Goblin Green. Until the next video, stay safe, take care. Big thank you to Matthew Gorham for sending me this and another Hexpot of this and the other more modern Hexpot. Really appreciate it, sir. You are a legend. Thank you for that. Until the next video, guys, stay safe, take care.